Today I fucked up by hooking up with an insane girl. This happened last year when I was in high school and now I'm in college, but I recently realized it's Reddit worthy because of how wild and surreal it is. If you want the full experience, I recommend listening to The Shining's theme while reading it. Trigger warnings. Animal abuse and sexual assault. So I, 18NB, met this girl we'll call Sophie, 16F, during recess. Right away our first meeting was a little weird. She had sneaked out to smoke by crawling under the fence, then asked me for my number after saying I looked cool. All pretty random, and I saw her argue with a teacher, but I didn't think much of the situation at the time. The fact she was yelling at a teacher should have probably been a red flag in hindsight. We called that same day and just sort of talked, finding out we had a few common interests. The next day I had planned to hang out with some friends, and I asked her if she wanted to come with. She said yes and we went hang out with everyone. It was actually pretty fun, she even brought one of her dogs. As we're all hanging out, we start playing a question-based game, and I start to realize Sophie is odd to say the least. She admits to having stolen money from backpacks in school multiple times and proudly announces that she's shat on the school floor. I'm a little flabbergasted, mostly about the shitting part, but other than that she seems really nice and fun to be around. Eventually someone asks me a question, asking me who I would hook up with from those that are playing the game. I say Sophie, and she says she'd totally hook up with me as well. That night we didn't actually do anything but kiss twice, but we both agreed to meet up at her place the next day. Her grandma drives us there. It's a little far because she lives in the countryside. Right away she shows me around. She shows me her animals, her chickens. She has a lot of animals which I love. Skip forward a few hours and we eventually end up making out. It's worth mentioning that while I don't plan on getting any gender-reaffirming surgeries, I'm pretty uncomfortable and dysphoric about being fully naked in front of anyone, especially if I don't know the person very well. Sophie knew this and she still pressured me into taking off all my clothes. I tried to lightheartedly let her know I was uncomfortable, but she didn't take no for an answer. So we do our thing, and this is when I realized just how crazy this girl actually is. I haven't even had time to put my shirt on when she asks, "Do you love me?" Keep in mind we know each other from 2 days. I try to brush off the question, but she insists. Eventually I just tell her, I can't love you because I don't know you. She evidently he's upset by this, but eventually the conversation steers away from the L word. Once I've pissed and gotten dressed, she suddenly goes, "Wanna see my mouse?" I know she has a lot of pets, so I excitedly tell her yes, glad the situation is back to normal. She pulls out a jar with a dead mouse. At this point I'm just shocked, especially since we have had sex less than 10 minutes ago. She then opens her mini fridge to show me a dead baby duck that she's just kind of been keeping there. That's when I know I need to get the fuck out of this house, and I text my mum begging her to come pick me up immediately. In the 30 minutes that my mum takes to get there, I'm just playing with one of her cats. I'm not saying much. She brings up the love stuff but I just don't reply. Skip forward a few months later, and we stay friends, but I keep my distances from her. While I'm on vacation my friend, 17M, texts me saying there's been some drama involving Sophie. I ask about it and he says it's best if he just tells me when I get home. Basically he tells me Sophie had some friends over at her house, and she sexually assaulted one of the girls there in her sleep. She had also impulsively bought a rat, and since she left the cage open one of her cats ate the rat. In response to this she kicked the cat, then tried to break its neck with a door, multiple times. But eventually another girl there just grabbed the cat and let it out. The cat ran away. I haven't heard from her since. It's evident this girl had severe psychological issues, and while her trauma isn't her fault there's no denying she's a dangerous person. Turns out she's sexually harassed other people, so this girl wasn't her first victim. Too long did not read. The girl I had sex with after knowing her from 2 days asked me if I loved her, showed me 2 dead animals right after sex, tried to murder her cat and raped another girl. Edit for a few comments I've gotten multiple times. The victim did report it, but I don't know her personally so I don't know what happened afterwards. As for the cat, it came back home and from what I've been told she gave it up for adoption. NB stands for non-binary, and what my genitalia looks like is irrelevant to the story and it's none of anyone's business. I've already gotten a few comments asking and I feel it's pretty disrespectful since it doesn't change anything. Some people have also pointed out she was probably a victim herself, and she did get groomed by a 40-something-year-old when she was 14. I don't know the details or if she has any other trauma besides that instance. Don't stick your dick in crazy. She shat on the floor but otherwise she was okay, dude. The weirdest thing about this story is you had recess in high school. So this sort of behavior is taken extremely seriously. Harm to animals is the gateway to murdering people. Harming animals in this way means she has little empathy for other living beings. Call the police immediately or you may suffer the consequences. But was she hotter than crazy? Today I fucked up by reporting my car stolen when it wasn't stolen and got arrested and spent time in jail. Sadly not today, but recently. I scheduled some surgery to take place a short while ago. Nothing serious, it was elective and one of those things that can come with age, 50s. But I needed a general anesthetic and so I made the arrangements. Never had a general anesthetic before, so I had no idea how it would work out. The weeks leading up to it, I'd gone to the hospital a couple times for tests etc. and always drove myself. My partner drove me in for the actual surgery. All went great. Woke up the next day, a Thursday, and felt good and wanted to go home. But I had no real memory of the day before. A few hours later I was discharged. Went out and couldn't find my car. Walked everywhere for it. Nowhere. Went inside and asked about my car and of course they had no idea because, why would they? So I called the cops, reported it stolen. It was early evening and I should go into the station the next day to file papers for insurance etc. I get an Uber home, even though it was still early, as I was beat and go to sleep. Wake up pretty late the next morning feeling completely normal. Didn't really remember much from the previous day, except getting home really tired. It was a normal, lazy day with the family. Weather decent. We decided to have a barbecue but I wasn't supposed to drink, so it was juice and Coke for me. At some point we needed more things from the store because this gathering wasn't planned. We didn't have enough drinks and snacks, so I said I'd go as I was sober. So I got in my car. And drove to the retail center, taking only cash. No phone. No ID. The store is like 4 minutes drive and it's rural, it's just how we roll in the suburban sticks. I go inside and am there for a good 10-15 minutes. I manage to buy everything and return to my car. I see 2 cop cars parked opposite and a little way off. 4 officers. They're looking my way? No, I must have imagined it. I got in, started my car and headed to the car park exit. I took a right onto the main road and after half a mile turn right onto a smaller road, toward my place. That's when I notice the cops behind me, catching up. The blue, red cop lights go on and I think something happened up ahead and I slow down and pull a little to the right to let them pass. That is when I realize they are boxing me in. Bullhorn. Turn off the engine. Put your hands on the wheel. Now. WTAF? Well, I'm from the Middle East, and quite dark-skinned at that, so I'm pretty nervous even, if I grew up and live here for 45 years now. I do as instructed and they inch toward me, yell at me to get out and on the ground. I comply, but I am wondering what the hell is going on. They cuff me. And I asked what are they arresting me for? What did I do? The vehicle is registered as stolen. I told them this is my car. It's quite an expensive car. I am wearing sweatpants and a hoodie because I am post-surgery. Where is your ID? F.C.K. I got no ID. I didn't bring anything apart from cash with me. The store is just 5 minutes away. I tell him as much. Yeah, I bet. You're coming with us. I told them my house is 5 minutes up ahead and all my papers and documents are there. They weren't having it. So they put me in the back of the cruiser. I explained who I am. Asked them to call my partner, but in the end they won't call anyone there and just said I can make as many phone calls as I want when they're done processing. I of course try to call my partner and explain why I'm going to be really late, but she is in the garden with the entire family, not hearing the phone. I don't have my phone with me, so I don't have any other numbers to dial. I ask the cops to find me the number of a lawyer I know. They do manage to do that, but he is out for the night. He can't do much now, but he will in the morning, first thing. They then put me in a cell. It's now getting late on a Friday night. Early next morning my partner and the lawyer roll up and in 15 minutes I'm out. I had a lot of explaining to do. I just couldn't remember the things that happened on Thursday properly. I was like the disappearing fog of a dream you had yesterday, if that makes sense. When I checked my phone's call logs from Thursday it was like an alternate reality. I saw all my calls and couldn't remember any of it. I got some seriously dumb looks from everyone. My partner laughed her ass off all the way home and all signs point to me never ever hearing the end of this, ever. Too long did not read. I went for surgery and post-anesthetic had memory issues. Couldn't find my car. Reported it stolen. Forgot everything, even reporting it stolen. Got pulled by cops and arrested the next day while driving the car, which was at home the whole time. Spent a night in jail. Am the butt of all family jokes until someone else FCKS up bigger than me. And #X200B. This is why you're supposed to have someone pick you up after you undergo anesthesia. I've never ever heard of a hospital releasing someone out of general anesthesia and allowing them to talk out the door alone. Memory issues can last a long time after anesthetic. What puzzles me is that you didn't have your car keys, but you were still looking for it. Nice story. Fuck. Today I fucked up by going on dates with friends while being in a relationship. This is definitely a combination of today I fucked up and IATA. I recently finished college and am moving to a new city, let's call it the Big Pair. I had a friend group of about 25 girls and guys in college, some of which were also moving to the Big Pair post-graduation. I also have a girlfriend outside of the group. We'll be in a long-distance relationship for the next few months. Out of the group, I was moving in second. While planning the move, I told my girlfriend that I would be asking my friend Allie for help. For context, Allie used to date one of my closest friends. She was also roommates with my ex for most of college. Differences aside, all of us were friends in and out of the friend group. I asked Allie for help moving in. In return, dinner would be on me. I got the idea from the internet, and asked my girlfriend if it sounded reasonable. I asked her not because I was seeking permission, but instead to ask if covering dinner for helping move in made sense. Begin the TIFU. Allie helps me move in. During the move both of us ask each other where we would like to eat, with both of us drawing blanks. We finally finish the move, and I realize there's this vegan pasta place she spoke highly about last year that sounded great. She doesn't seem to remember it well, but we end up at the restaurant with the help of Google. Now, this restaurant is super romantic. Think dimly lit, Italian music, etc. I got the vibes of the restaurant right away, but it was too late. I really wanted to try this vegan pasta. The food was great. I drop her off at her apartment, and I go home to tell my girlfriend of my move in. She's all happy and all until I tell her the name of the place we ate. She gets all sad. Apparently it's a place she wanted to take me for when she visits me in the Big Pair. She also knew the vibe of the place and joked that I took Ally on a date. Now if I told you this was all, it continues. The next week, Jane moves into the Big Apple. Jane is currently dating one of my friends from freshman year of college. Us two decide on getting a snack before exploring the city. Google suggests a vegan cafe. Me, being vegetarian and not eating eggs, I'm elated at the fact that I can try vegan pastries. It's not something I get to have often. We get there and it's an Asian, candlelit restaurant. In Too Deep, we decide to enjoy the amazing vegan sushi. The candle on the table even went out once, and was relit by one of the waiters. I told my girlfriend this and yet again I feel bad. We are both long distance for the time being. I told her I would leave to take her to this restaurant soon. If I told you this happened only twice, I would be lying. One of my friend's girlfriend was at the Big Pair interning for the summer. I moved in before her internship ended. She had heard of this bagel place on TikTok and hadn't tried it yet. She takes me and we enjoy some normal bagels in a park. The day ends with biking around the city and meeting some of her friends. Fast forward to that night when I told my girlfriend about the bagels we had. Call it déjà vu, but this bagel place was yet another place she wanted to visit. Apparently TikTok had made that place super popular, even though the bagels were mid. My girlfriend has visited me a few times and I finally took her to the vegan cafe. It was my favorite, but she still makes offhand comments about all the dates I go on in the Big Pair without her. I feel like an asshole, hence the IATA, but also realize this was all a unfortunate sequence of events. Too long did not read. Accidentally went on numerous dates with friends after moving into a new city because I could not guess the vibes of the restaurant. My long-distance girlfriend is upset I've done things she wanted to do together for when she would visit me. Edit. Yes guys, Big Pair is actually Big Apple. I guess I was just trying to be funny. I'll leave the comedy to the comedy shows. It's all pretty tame. But I kept wondering why you felt like you had passed some sort of point of no return when you found out those two places had romantic settings. But it was too late. In Too Deep, we decide. This could just be a me thing. But why not invite Jane's partner? your friend from freshman year of college, too. Do you typically meet one-on-one with your friends' girls? Long distance in the big pair is a rough game. Tried it, it sucked. Better to just be solo. Ask yourself if you'd have done anything differently if you had a partner that was not long distance. Sure, maybe they'd help you move, but let's invent some scenario where they can't because they are busy or out of town. Does that change your plans? Should you communicate more with your partner with what you're doing before you do it? Or are they just bummed because you're in an LDR and not doing enough between the two of you to make it work? It's bound to happen given the situation. But it's still valid on her end, but there is not much you can do about it. It's the big pair. In a way you are going on dates, you just don't know it yet. She kind of does. To be fair to your GF, you seem to only be going out with your female friend and telling her about it when she can't be there. Today I fucked up by hooking up with guys. I always used to say I would wait until marriage before having sex. When I graduated high school all up until my sophomore year of college I never drank or partied. I excelled in school. Things have changed a lot, and it is honestly making me feel awful about myself and that no guy will ever want to be in a relationship with me. My sister committed suicide when I was a freshman in college. Ever since I think I went downhill. I still did well in school, but I began to do the bare minimum. I slowly became exposed to drinking and partying in college when I moved on campus. I was never diagnosed, but I feel like I have situational depression or some kind of mild depression because I have been really sad ever since my sister died, and it's been 2.5 years now. Because of the combination of being depressed, being exposed to alcohol, partying more, and being told by my friends that it's okay to hook up and seeing it normalized, I lost my virginity last year shortly after turning 21, and I've since racked up a body count of 7. I take full responsibility. These were decisions I made that I didn't have to. But these factors certainly played a role. If my sister never died, I don't think I would have come down this destructive path. With each hookup I've hated myself more. Pretty much all of these encounters occurred after I drank too much, and there were a few times that my depression and passive suicidal thoughts made me feel like I wanted to put myself in danger by hooking up with random guys. I don't know what to do now because I feel pretty worthless about myself. I feel like I don't know who I am. I have always just wanted to be in a long-term relationship, and now I feel like I've ruined my chances cause no guy will want someone with my body count and who is depressed. I watch YouTube a lot and seeing people's opinions about girls like me who have slept around really hurts me. I wish I could turn back time. Am I disgusting? Will no guy ever want me? Too long did not read. My sister committed suicide when I was a freshman in college. My depression has caused me to be destructive by drinking a lot and hooking up. My body count is 7 now. I never used to be this person, so I'm really ashamed. Will any guy ever want to be in a relationship with me? See a therapist, or talk to someone. You're sleeping around because you believe it ruins you because you're expressing grief as self-loathing. You're making yourself loathable as a coping mechanism. You won't see it until you're through it, and you need help to get there. You're not lost or worthless or hopeless. This is temporary and okay. Talk to someone. No one that is worth dating is going to care that you've slept with other people before them. Will any guy ever want to be in a relationship with me? Of course, your past doesn't matter to most people. What matters is who you are now and going forward. We all look back on our past selves and cringe for one reason or another. It's a clear sign you're growing as a person. Having sex with a non-committed partner only matters if it's without protection. Your body count is just a number. You are the only one keeping track of it or placing value on it. Sex without a connection is very hollow, though. It's not great for someone with depression. I would say work on yourself first before going down that road. Partying doesn't really help much either, as alcohol is a depressant. You haven't fucked up at all and it sounds like you are going through some serious shit. There should be a campus counselor or service for you to talk to. Please look for campus services to help you talk about and navigate this trauma. Also, 7 is nothing in college. You still have the same amount of value as before and can still have a normal and bright future. Guys that are icked out by that aren't really worth hanging around.